The Newswatch never stops. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good morning. It's 54 degrees. It's 7:40 on this Thursday, October 12th. I'm Scott Stanford. Here's what's happening. As the Israeli military is preparing for a possible ground operation in Gaza, Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Israel with the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu.
Thank you, America, for standing with Israel today, tomorrow, and always.
Israel returns fire into Lebanon after two missiles were reportedly fired at an Israeli military post near the border. Police on Long Island shoot and kill an Elwood man who came at them with swords in his hands. If you're waiting on a subway platform, now you have to look out for a guy holding a piece of wood out of a train window. Somebody waking up very wealthy this morning in California. The Powerball jackpot gets got. Checking sports, the Astros headed to the ALCS again. New York Liberty now down 2-0 in their WNBA finals. AccuWeather, gorgeous today, just like yesterday. Sunny, pleasant, high around 70 degrees. Wins News Time, 7:41. Let's get you back out to the road, see how that Thursday commute's going. We check in with Sue Allen.
It's not going good at all in Queens. In fact, you are just packed like sardines, hey, that rhymes, on the northbound side of the Cross Island Parkway from the Southern State Parkway all the way up to Northern Boulevard. That's practically the entire stretch. And then the westbound LIE slows down from your Nassau County line all the way out to Woodhaven Boulevard. Then you have more slowdowns by the BQE and again by the Queens Midtown Tunnel. Now the Grand Central, slightly better, but not much. You do slow down from the Clearview out to the Kew Gardens interchange, and then you do have delays by LaGuardia Airport. In Brooklyn, pretty busy on the BQE, and that is both ways by the Brooklyn Bridge. Now here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Inbound George Washington Bridge, 45 minutes at both levels, 45 at the Lincoln and 45 at the inbound side of the Holland Tunnel. We're also really slow at the Staten Island bound out of Bridge Crossing because of a stall. It takes out the left lanes, go to Goethals, but once you're on the expressway, that is jammed eastbound from 440 all the way to the Verrazano Bridge. I'm Sue Aller. Next report at 7:51. 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
As U.S. aircraft carriers arrived in the Mediterranean and Israeli troops wait for possible word to go into Gaza, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken in Israel now, meeting earlier with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
Hamas should be treated exactly the way ISIS was treated. They should be spit out from the community of nations. No leader should meet them. No country should harbor them. And those that do should be sanctioned.
Israeli airstrikes continue to hit targets inside Gaza. Israeli defense forces say they've struck more than 2,000 targets. Rockets continue to fall inside Israel as well. More than 1,300 people have now been killed in Israel, 1,300 also inside Gaza. Tensions are now high in the northern part of the country as well, with a potential second front along the border with Lebanon.
Israel was thrown into a fresh state of terror after a military alert warning of a, quote, aerial infiltration from Lebanon. An army spokesman later said it was an error. But on its northern border with Lebanon, Israel is taking no chances. CBS News has witnessed a mass mobilization of tanks and soldiers following 4 consecutive days of incoming rocket fire from southern Lebanon.
Imtiaz Tayyab reporting. Avital Leibovich is Lieutenant Colonel Reserve of the IDF. She spoke to 1010 Wins, and she says Lebanon risks fighting a war it cannot win if it enters into combat with Israel.
If another front opens on the Lebanese border, then we will have to continue this defense in a more active way. We will not allow Hezbollah to attack Israel in a violent, vicious way.
As the Israel-Hamas war escalates, Israel has announced what it's calling large-scale strikes on terror targets in the Gaza Strip.
Israeli airstrikes have already leveled entire neighborhoods in Gaza. Power is out, and hospitals are reportedly at full capacity with medicine, fuel, food, and water cut off by the Israeli blockade. More than 200,000 Palestinians have sought refuge at United Nations facilities in the area, but others in the Hamas-ruled territory worry nowhere is safe.
That's correspondent Andrew Dimber. national anthem being sung by an entire neighborhood in Cologne, Israel. Residents singing together from their balconies, hundreds of Israelis from their high-rise buildings, out of windows and rooftops. The song's called Hatikva, which means to hope. Cheers and applause swept across the area. The video posted on social media. It was accompanied by the caption, "We will not be broken." Reports out this morning by the NYPD has ordered all officers to report to duty tomorrow after a call for protest by a former Hamas leader. A memo went out last night requesting all officers report after Khalid Mashal calling for protests across the Muslim world in support of Palestinians. Mashal said the governments and people of Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, and Egypt have a bigger duty to support Palestinians. President Biden has made it clear if anyone's thinking of escalating this war any further, in one word, don't. As Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Tel Aviv this morning, the president spoke at a roundtable with Jewish community leaders at the White House.
This attack was a campaign of pure cruelty, and not just hate, but pure cruelty against the Jewish people.
For paramedics trying to save lives and help those injured in Israel these last 6 days, well, they've been adapting to a completely new reality.
The reality is, as EMTs from Israel's National Paramedic Service race from one location to another 24/7, trying to save lives, they are coming under attack. We spoke with Uri Shakam, who's the chief of staff, the paramedic himself for 30 years.
Think how frustrating it for a call taker who has the ability to help, who has the knowledge how to help, who has the items that can help, but you cannot reach the victim because everyone that gets near the house is being shot at.
As this war rages on, he tells us it's a constant battle to reach victims. Glenn Schuck, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Winds News Time 7:47. We're at 54 degrees, headed up to 70. Beautiful day on the way. Here's a new one. I mean, police say there's a guy riding the subways, sticking a piece of wood out of the window as the train passes through stations, smacking and assaulting people on the platform with the wood. Police say it started last Thursday when this guy had this slab of wood sticking out of an R train as it moved through the Grand Avenue station in Elmhurst. One woman was struck in the throat. He also struck at the Jackson Heights subway station where the suspect hit a 56-year-old woman in the head with a different piece of wood. She needed stitches. She's doing okay. The suspect's photo is up at 1010wins.com. Police are looking for 3 men who they say assaulted a Palestinian teenager in Bay Ridge last night. Officials say an 18-year-old was with his friends when a car came down 86th Street with several men inside, waving an Israeli flag, yelling anti-Palestinian comments. The 3 yelled back at the car. The guys in that car got out, punched and kicked the 18-year-old, and then they took off. As Olympic gold medalist Mary Lou Retton continues to fight for her life from a rare form of pneumonia, a fundraiser is up over $330,000 to pay for medical bills as she doesn't have health insurance. Here's Mary Lou's daughter, McKenna.
She's still fighting. It's going to be a day-by-day process, and we hope that you guys will respect her boundaries as we want to keep the details between her and our family right now.
Mary Lou Retton was America's sweetheart after taking home gold in gymnastics at the 1984 Summer Olympics. A man who charged at officers with 2 swords in his hands was shot and killed by police on Long Island. 54-year-old Alan Weber reportedly acting violently inside his home in Elwood. Police showed up. Weber confronted them with swords. They say he was wearing a fencing mask. Officials say the officers fired once. It had no effect on Weber. He charged them. They shot again. Police Commissioner Rodney Harrison says the shooting appeared to be justified. There's a new effort in the New York State Legislature to protect kids from what some lawmakers call dangerous addictions to social media.
Kathleen Spence's daughter, who created her first account at the age of 11, is the face of this new fight.
As soon as she signed up for social media, she was targeted. Extreme eating disorder and self-harm material,
which she says led to a suicide attempt. Together, these 2 proposed bills would restrict addictive feeds for kids, making social media companies only show them what they signed up for, and limit the personal data they collect from kids and then sell to advertisers. State Senator Andrew Gennardis.
Our children deserve a safer and more secure environment online, free from addictive algorithms.
One bill would also allow parents to ban social media for kids overnight. Mac Rosenberg, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in Lower Manhattan.
Winds news time 7:50. We're at 54 degrees. We're going to hit the roads in 60 seconds.
My family and friends know that when I use my pellet grill, the food always tastes
so good.
That's because I trust Kingsford Hardwood Pellets. Kingsford has over 100 years of expertise in flavor and quality, so I know their pellets can deliver excellent performance in any pellet grill. Their hardwood pellets will give my food that authentic wood-fired flavor in every bite.
Going back for seconds.
Take pride in what you grill. Put on your crown and pick up a bag of Kingsford Hardwood Pellets today. Kingsford.com.
My dad has a cold, but also has high blood pressure. That's why I got him Vicks NyQuil High Blood Pressure for fast, powerful nighttime relief. Unlike some ordinary cold medicines, it's specially formulated for people like my dad. NyQuil High Blood Pressure is sugar-free, alcohol-free, and decongestant-free.
Vicks NyQuil High Blood Pressure. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, cold, and flu for people with high blood pressure.
Like my dad.
Medicine. Use as directed.
Winds news time 7:51. Traffic and transit on the ones. Let's check in with Sue Aller.
All right, Scott, let's go over to the northbound side of the FDR Drive. It's not pretty. Eastbound 34th Street, there's a stall, and that takes out the right lane, but these delays go all the way back to about Houston Street. Now, we're also pretty slow on the southbound side of the Harlem River Drive as you make your way towards the RFK Tri-Bar Bridge. And then in the Bronx, you're just completely slammed on the southbound side of the Major Deegan, making your way towards Fordham Road, but the delays really begin on the thruway southbound right around Yonkers Avenue, and then on the Bruckner, you're hitting the brakes in both directions by the Hutch. Now, here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. The Staten Island bound Outerbridge Crossing, still working on the stall, taking out the left lane, so the Goethals is better, but you will be busy eastbound on the expressway in Staten Island from about 440 to the Brooklyn bound Verrazano Bridge. Your lower East River crossings, not too bad except for the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel. That is packed heading into Manhattan. Inbound George Washington Bridge, about a 45-minute delay. 45 at both the inbound Lincoln and the Holland tunnels. Subway delays on the F trains. We've got 20-minute delays on Metro North New Haven line. I'm Sue Aller. Next report at 8:01, 1010 Winds on 92.3 FM.
Let's get a check of the AccuWeather 4-day forecast. Meteorologist Dean DeVore, I see that sun popping through the window.
It is bright and beautiful, isn't it? Sunglasses alert, especially for eastbound travelers. Here, the thing you'll need the sunglasses. Well, there's a few patches of fog that were kind of mucking up the works in some of the eastern boroughs and the western side of Long Island, but it seems like it's burning off with that sun getting established. We'll see temperatures warming up to around 70. Enjoy it. Another Dean's List day today, and then a pleasant evening, clear to partly cloudy, chilling down the low 50s in the city to 940s in the suburbs. Not quite as warm, but still comfortable tomorrow, Scott, with sunshine up to 65. It looks dry tomorrow evening. Clouds increase tomorrow night. I think the steadiest rain that we're looking at forward here on the weekend is going to be Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. It's not particularly windy during the day Saturday, but the breeze picks up at night. Temperatures will drop to near 50. Real feels end up in the 40s, and then it's going to be pretty windy and chilly on Sunday. Any showers near the coast move away. We think could brighten a little bit in the afternoon. Real feels generally in the 40s to near 50. Right now in Midtown, the sun is coming up. It's 54, going up to near 70 on this Thursday. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Dean DeVore, New York's weather station, 1010 Winds on 92.3.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me on this daily commute to work, listening to news and driving and listening and viewing it. All right, guys, we'll see you on the next video.